The heir apparent to Tilden's throne would be a local boy from Pasadena, a tall, skinny lad who hit tennis balls with a ferocity and velocity never before seen. Ellsworth Vines.
First really great player that I had a chance to see was Ellie Vines on a racetrack at Pomona Fairgrounds. And I've used the statement as sort of corny, but Ellsworth sort of hit him like Babe Ruth, and he dressed like Fred Astaire.
He's super athlete, so elastic, upper body, limber.
Well, now I think the world of Ellie Vines. Ellie Vines, you can make a very big case for Ellie Vines, perhaps maybe the best player of all time. He may have been the best athlete of all time. As you know, he was a freshman basketball player at USC. I think he was a great swimmer. We know he was on the golf pro tour, and we know when he played Perry, Perry was the best amateur in the world, and Vines beat him 2 consecutive years in a row. And then he played Don Budge, and Don Budge was just coming off of the Grand Slam in 1938 and playing Vines after he turned pro. Budge's all-time peak. Vines takes a golf club to bed with him, is putting up in his bedroom, trying to get 18 holes of golf in the morning, playing Budge at night. And when the tour is half over, Vines announces to Jack Harris, who's the promoter of the tour, and announces to Don, I had promised Perry that he could play half the tour against Buzz. I'm going to go back to my golf game. And the score was only about 22-18 at that time. And you know how fantastically close that is. And here is Vines, 8 years as the top pro in the world, doesn't even like the game anymore, is playing golf every day and holding the great Don Budge that close. Unbelievable. So how good could Vines be? We know he had 1, 2, 3, the best serve of all time. We know he had a wonderful forehand, a classical backhand. I don't know of a weakness that he had.
I would say that the tennis ball traveled faster when he hit it than anybody because of the fact that he hit it so flat, perfectly flat, backhand and forehand. And his serve was as hard as anything that I've ever seen before or since. But he had a tremendous overhead, and he could bounce the ball way up into the stands. Ellsworth Vines probably served more aces per times at bat than anybody that I've ever seen play tennis. On the tour with Don Budge, they ended up 22-17 in Don Budge's favor, and on that tour, Ellsworth averaged 2.5 aces per game. He did the same thing at Wimbledon, in the finals of Wimbledon against Bunny Austin, where he beat him 6-4, 6-2, 6-love in the finals of Wimbledon. He did exactly that. He served 30 aces out of 12 times at bat to serve.
I would think he's the greatest hitter of a tennis ball I ever saw. He had the best serve, for sure, in my opinion. In our tour, he averaged 2.5 aces a game, and I never served better. I averaged an ace and a half. And Ellie Vines was my first model that I tried to copy my game after. Of course, I wasn't as good as Ellie then, but I couldn't even come close to hitting the ball as well as he did. Could have been one of the greatest player of all time, I think. When he was on, you might as well stay home.
Vines has to go down as one of my all-time best players for sure.
He had that fantastic serve. I don't think anybody ever served any better. And he also had probably as good a forehand as anybody could see, but he was a super athlete.
Shortly after winning the U.S. championship at the tender age of 19, Ellie Vines was honored by a banquet in his hometown of Pasadena. After the obligatory speeches, the master of ceremonies asked Ellie to describe the strategy he employed during match play. For example, asked the MC, "What is your approach to returning service?" Ellie replied, "I hit the ball cross court as hard as I can." The MC countered with, "What do you do next?" "I hit the next ball cross court as hard as I can. I seldom try to hit behind my opponent." The MC nodded. "Then what?" To which Ellie replied, "That hasn't come up yet."
There's no doubt about it. He was my role model and my hero, and turned out to be one of my greatest friends, a sensational man.